Button. And one more button. Hello, greetings everybody, and welcome to Discussing Tabletop. I hope you're having a wonderful Saturday. I know I've had an exciting one. I am tired from a long day of various different things and adventures in the world, but I'm here, Worm. We're going to talk about some tabletop stuff.
I streamed for 6 hours earlier. I'm probably in the very same tired boat.
Oh god, yeah. 6 hours takes it out of you, definitely. I mean, certainly, I've been in a situation where I stream for 6 hours, and, part of me, could keep going, but as soon as I stop, it all hits me like a brick, because you get caught up in the game and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like,
for me, it was just, yeah, for me, it was TwitchCon, and I was just kind of, watching that as it's kind of fun to actually, watch something and comment over it while also playing a game. It was kind of fun and weird.
But yeah, so exciting. Anyway, we got an interesting docket today. I left the discussion open this week, but I think we're probably going to skip out on today. We're going to see how the rest of the topics go and how I'm feeling, because, again, kind of tired. Go for this might take an hour, and so all this stuff, and just don't want to push it too much and kill myself.
It's already late for you. It's already late for you too.
It's
7:30.
Yeah, it's getting close to 7:30. I said to push to 7, but usually it takes a little while to and we were doing some problem solving with. Wait, I'll pause it and no fan on my end. I actually do have the fan going on, but thanks to my good friend Worm here, noise cancellation on the fan. So theoretically, no one on stream is hearing that. I'll have to listen when I set up for rending this.
Yeah, it's working. I
Cool.
can hear it. I can't hear it coming from you on this stream.
So I have a fan nice on high and on me, and I don't have to worry about it. Great. We have technology. We can make it better. So, we'll always start with the two things that are top of the list, because they are things to talk about, is there's two playtests coming from Paizo. So, the first off is coming on the 31st of August, and it is going to be a playtest for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. And the unique thing about this is, in this case, they are introducing two classes. And what's different than normal is, these are not old classes from 1st edition they're bringing back. They've got two new concepts that they're bringing forward, and they want to share with us. So these are this is not something that they're basing off of something they've already had. These are two completely new classes to check out. So that's really cool that they've got that coming out. So, again, we're not going to know what these two classes are until they, we see them in a little bit. So, anticipate them, but, So, yeah.
Any information about it?
They just said that they're ones that haven't been in 1st edition before, so they're entirely new, not only to Pathfinder in general. And that we're not going to see anything to it. It's going to be discussed on the 31st, and then you can play test it on the 1st. So they're going to have a live stream where they present it on the 31st. I've drunk water. And then we'll see it. So yeah, I mean, honestly, they've got little images. I'll give the link here. That probably are very artistic and technically hint at whatever these playtests are, but we'll probably know we will know by the time we have our next stream next week. I probably would.
There's a hand. Yeah, so these are definitely images of the thing, because I can make out enough to where I'm like, okay, so there's a sword. Was there a samurai in the old version?
Yes and no. There was a type of samurai class, but it wasn't it was an extra thing that was kind of based on something else, so it really wasn't there.
Okay.
But yeah, it looks like some kind of burly character. It looks like, and probably someone that maybe uses like a sword or something.
Yeah, 'cause the only thing I can really tell is that there's two things, which could be like a giant quiver or a sword or something.
Yeah.
And the other one, I'm having it looks like a belt is all they're showing.
So yeah, the other thing, which
is
speculate. Yeah, it's fun to speculate. If there wasn't 2 playtest announcements, I probably would have saved this one for next week. But yeah, so the other playtest announcement, of course, is Starfinder 2nd Edition.
Yeah. Next week's announcements will be that this is probably live because
we'll actually talk about what the hell they're going on about. But yeah, so yeah, with the recent announcement of Starfinder 2nd Edition, they're coming out with some stuff for their own playtests for it. This is basically like they're using the flip map enormous battlefield, and it's playtest 1 street sweep, they call it. Again, I don't know if this is the formal playtest. It's hard to tell. Starfinder playtest page. I have to do two pages deep in order to get this. So yeah, they do have the Starfinder field test. So this is like the first thing to go with the field test 1. Oh, there it is. I see field test 1. So this is out. If you want to check out what they're doing, this is their like very early on playtest stuff for Starfinder 2nd Edition. Field test 1 is available, and you can look into it and stuff like that. I'll link the playtest too. But they're talking about material that they are releasing with it. So hey, double playtest for coming out for Paizo. They're doing a good job. Again, Paizo does a really good job with their playtests. I really, as much as I do actually like Wizards doing Unearthed Arcanas and stuff from over the years, I feel like they're only so much, and Pathfinder, Paizo does a much better job with those playtests. It just has bigger ones, less of them, I guess. Here, I gotta mute myself on stream for a second if you wanna look into it.
Yeah, wait, can they hear me? I don't know if you can hear me, but if you can. Hi. Yeah, playtest though. It's kind of fun. I'm kind of disappointed that the flip mat that they're using for it is cost $10. Otherwise, I would kind of nice when they offer stuff like that for free. But I guess that's also just I don't know if it's something they already had that they're using, or if it's just let's see. When was this released? I don't think it says. Let me full screen. No, it doesn't say. So, anyway. Oh, wait. Maybe yesterday? Anyway.
Sorry about that.
Was I audible?
I could hear you a little bit with the headphones off, but just barely.
No. So was I audible to stream?
Oh, you should have been. You're okay,
good. I'm glad I kept talking then.
Yeah. Audio's
been on. I kept talking.
Yeah. I muted myself for stream. You could probably have heard me. I was ordering. I was ordering dinner. Someone's picking it up.
I could tell.
You could tell, but I'm telling stream. Someone I was supposed to order dinner. Hey, we're starting later. Ordering dinner. So anyway,
I was just saying that the flip mat that they're using with this little adventure thing that they're using to playtest costs $10.
Again, I guess that's the
map.
It's just a map, and I guess you could use something else, but it's kind of, I guess, the recommended thing, definitely.
Also, their pictures are from Roll20, I think. No?
Ooh.
Maybe. No, they're not. What is this? I thought they were, because they had a similar look. Do they have their own, tabletop thing?
Mats? Yeah, I think they also have.
Well, no, like a tabletop software, because it's got like a tracker and like a map.
I think you could get some of those maps for Roll20. It might have been another, and it also might be another VTT. I know that Paizo partners with Roll20, and I think Alchemy, was it? I don't remember all the VTTs off the top of my head. But they partner with a few of them. I just can't remember all of them. Because, yes! Oh, we're a Kickstarter-filled day, honestly. But again, a lot of more interesting things pop up in Kickstarter. Anyway, moving on a little bit, we have another RPG to talk about, and it's on Kickstarter, and it's funded with 5 days left. Cloudbreaker Alianace, which is unusual. It's called the Counter-Apocalyptic TRPG. So it does have a little bit of an anime style, of course.
I think it was Alchemy RPG. So that's what it
okay,
like.
that's probably the Alchemy version they're showing off there, then. I would assume.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. I might have to try this.
Yeah. So this is a 2d6 dice game with tokens, and they say it is. I don't know what counter-apocalyptic fantasy would mean. You know, that's a statement. I guess it's like reunite lost civilizations and reclaim a world shattered by monsters in a boundary-breaking tabletop RPG. What does that mean?
In this I mean, that probably depends. Let's see. Counter-apocalyptic fantasy tabletop. Eastern Western sources, anime, manga.
Things like Discworld, Star Trek, some other things. Okay, so there's some. They're gonna do animated tutorials to help you out. Neat. Okay, cool. So the summary is problem solving is prioritized over damage dealing, but you can still create powerful combat builds. No need to sacrifice roleplay for combat effectiveness. Extensive life form, character quirks, discipline class options. 256 levels of worth of growth in 32 classes. Is that 256 divided by 32, or 256 per 32? I'm just doing math here.
256 levels worth. I think that's 256 divided by 32.
Oh, 8.
Yeah.
So either they would each have 8 levels in a class, or there would be 256 levels in a class, which seems a lot more. I don't know. It might be that you just take like a combination of different classes, though, honestly. Each class provides only a small set of features. Complex comes from class combinations. So, I was right. So it's the idea of that you take, like, each class has 8 levels, and you kind of, like, mix and match to create a build. That's kind of neat. Okay. Use the power of friendship, blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah. Faltering enemies can be neutralized easily with the right skill tools. Robust escape and chase sequence rules. Escape and chase sequences are neat. I'm hoping they have good versions of them.
I think by counter-apocalypse, it means, like, I've seen this kind of thing done before, where it's all like, the apocalypse now happened, and now there's kind of just, like, the world after is not, like, bad, it's just different. I think that's what it means by counter-apocalyptic. Like, it even almost seems like maybe it's like, it was post-apocalyptic, was it post-apocalyptic magic? Or was it post-apocalyptic technology that created magic? It might be one of those.
I'm gonna say, yes!
I mean, yeah, I know. We neither of us do. Humans are a minority. That's unique. It's not humans are the plague. Humans are the rat plague of sentient species.
I mean, we oftentimes are in a lot of this media. Not gonna lie.
But it's just kind of like, okay, it's In some ways, by making humans the center, a lot of media kind of makes humans out to be the quick breeding filth that lives a very short life compared to everyone else.
Yeah, you know. We. So it's the idea that you can
Okay. So the event, the survivors. So basically, 2,000 years ago, for a reason that remained unknown, darkened clouds fell from the sky to engulf the world. What followed was a near obliteration of all civilization. Rampaging monsters. You missed. The event came to be known as Cloudfall. Survivors were able to fend off the events in cloud walls, eventually rebuilt their society. So that's what it means by counter-apocalypse. They countered the apocalypse.
Okay. So there was an end of the world, and this cloud thing that caused it has been kind of ended. So now it's sort of like, well, there's some stuff left. Let's start rebuilding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But there's still, monsters and stuff left over.
Yeah, I guess it's the thing, like, it's like if you took Fallout and just made, like, oh, hey, it's not a wasteland anymore. It's like a vibrant green area, but everybody was still dead, and there's still, like, mutants that are there left over from it. It's just, you know, the wasteland part of it has gone away, you know.
Yeah.
And everything's revitalized. It's just, you still have ruins and monsters. It's just, you know, plants are good, and life is probably not too... Anyway, I get it. I get it now.
I figured it out.
Yay! So, okay. It seems interesting. You know, they've got an interesting setting. The idea of, a specifically multi-classing system, I do like that idea. We don't get that a lot, systems that are built like that.
No, I mean, it's because it's generally harder to do. I mean, just look at D&D. Multi-classing often breaks things, which is kind of nice, because that means by designing it that way, you'll still find broken combos, but it shouldn't be as bad.
Especially because I guess it's, like, keeping the, like, various classes relatively simple, providing, like, a set number of kind of similar abilities. And then, of course, it results in interesting combinations and stuff. And developments. So, it looks as though the digital one is about $25 for the PDF, and any stretch goals that are part of it. And of course, you probably get a physical for more. Yes, physical for about $55, it looks like. Anyway, so that's Cloudbreaker Alianace. I was almost forgot the name, and I'm in the thing, you know. Brain work good. Alright, next up on the docket, of course, we have a pre-order for something we might have mentioned if it was on Kickstarter. I don't remember if I talked about being Kickstarter, but we have Resident Evil the board game.
This was mentioned, yeah.
Yeah, I think we talked about it back during its Kickstarter. It's officially kind of on pre-order now. It's going to come out on October 16th. So this is the same group that did RE2, RE3 board games, and this is the original one based on the Spencer Mansion. I know that Momo played like the RE2 board game, I think it was, and liked it a lot. So it's a pretty good engine. I'm assuming each one has little bits of uniqueness to them, and it's kind of cool to see, you know, them continue to expand the set of things. And yeah, so
bunch
it's
of normal
on
zombies, few special zombies, and then like 2 big zombie creatures.
Yeah, it's like 2 hunters, a tyrant. Yeah, lots of
a shark
some
and
dogs.
a spider.
Yeah, the shark and a spider, which are indeed things that you fight. And Yawn, the giant snake, and Plant 42, I think it is. I played this game. I know these monsters. It's Plant 42. The shark is named Neptune. The big spider's Black Tiger. Yawn's the snake. There's the smaller spiders and the dogs, which are Cerberus. And then hunters and tyrant. Hey, look at that! I remembered enough of this. I'm enough of an RA nerd to remember it all. At least a good chunk of it. I don't know if the smaller spiders, other than Big Spider, have a name. I can't remember. I am still slightly forgetful. Don't worry about it. Anyway, yeah, pre-order now. Wanted to shout it out. It was very interesting, and the other games are, I recall, pretty damn good. So this one will be very good too. Speaking of something that is on a little bit of pre-order, because it is not out yet, but coming out in 3 days. So I guess we could have talked about it next week, but might as well talk about it this week a little bit, or, we'll talk about it next week. They're making a, should I wait till next week? It might be more. Well, they're doing a board game based on Worms, the video game. Maybe next week would be... Yeah, maybe next week would be better. Just because it will be actually released, Normally when we talk about these, it's like a couple weeks ahead when it's like this, when I find them like this. But when I find like one like where it's like, 3 days, I'm like, probably leave it till next week. Honestly, it'd be just as fine. Yeah, you know what? Let's save that one. I'm gonna save Worms. I'll make sure to make note of it, and we'll talk about that next week. Maybe we'll have a little bit of time for a deeper discussion topic, because these are going quick. There isn't a lot. There's not a lot of substance this week. Anyway, do you want to? So Dungeon Kart. So the people that did Boss Monster have basically made a Mario Kart style board game with the monsters that they had from Boss Monster, kind of, but it's also like a racing board game. But it's a kart racing board game. So it has that Mario Kart style. So, yes! Very much so funded, 12 days to go. Yeah. It looks as though the retail copies for $50, and then they've got other ones with more bonuses and stuff. For Otherwise Games does really nice stuff. I even talked to him. I talked to him at one point in time in the past.
That's fun.
Yeah. 2 to 8 players, so quite a chunk of players for it.
Yeah, that's actually a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I'm curious too, because racing style board games are always really unusual and dynamic, so I'm just curious as to like how well all of it works. And I guess they might have a set of rules here. They have a how to play. Get set, go. Race like the boss, win. They got okay, so they do have a downloadable rulebook. Okay, I was just making sure. Yeah, got a downloadable rulebook.
Yeah, I find the system for. I wonder how many like boards they have, because they seem to have. Let's see. 10 double-sided track tiles. So yeah, you can kind of randomize the track.
Okay.
Yeah, so like they show one track in the picture of which has 8 tiles. So yeah, you don't even have to use them all. You can maybe make it longer or shorter as you want. And then you got items. Yeah, so it's kind of cool. It's like a Mario Kart. It's actually kind of a neat idea.
Yeah, no, and like they certainly like the idea of their unique thing with all their like monster, their boss monsters being the racers is kind of neat too. I mean, they have a roster of characters they've built up over the years, basically from their card game. So, I guess it's sort of like, honestly, Mario Kart, where they had a roster of characters that they could use for a video game. So So, yeah. If this is your style of stuff, honestly, I would say check it out. Certainly. So, Dungeon Kart. Put that one out there. Oh, I did. Did I put the link into... I did there, but not over on my thing. So don't lose it. Alright, and this is one that Momo suggested for us, so I felt like shouting it out here, of course, as a finish up to our entire thing, which is... This is very funded. I just looked at how much the goal was and how much they're at.
Huh. Yeah, that is 1,000% funded. Almost.
Wait, no.
Sorry. Almost. 175% funded, basically.
Well, it'd be 100% funded. Would be the normal.
No. 10,000. You're right.
It's
10,000.
It's nearly 10,800% funded.
There we go. Thank you. Yeah, 2 zeros.
10,000 nearly 18,000% funded. That's what it is. Yeah. 18,000%. Well, yeah. They were looking for $10,000. They're over. They're 1.7 million with 4 days to go.
Studio Ghibli and Legends of Zelda inspired campaign setting for D&D 5e. Yeah.
Something hit on people that they really like this one.
Yeah, I mean, there is very much a group there.
Yeah, so it's got ingredients and potion crafting rules, some subclasses, some new species, spells, monsters, magic items, hero's journey boon system, feats and fighting styles, some familiars and familiar weapon mechanics and new weapons, and a whole bunch of lore on the world, which is good. So it is over 250 pages, and yeah. Honestly,
to be fair, they do have stretch goals that go all the way up to 1.8.
This one just looks like one that they kind of just threw together. It's like the community figures out something. 10 creative community members will pick to help create a custom potions that features the book. Yeah, that feels like it just like, sure, neat, 10 more potions.
I'm kind of curious, because like, okay, yeah, like 1 million was movie poster, book upgrade, hardcover book, come with embossing, community build, 10 creative community members, 5 creatures available to purchase add-ons, super spirit dice, not from HS box replica. I feel like, yeah, okay, I feel like there came a point when they were kind of just tacking things on.
Like, honestly,
like,
you know,
some of this stuff seems to be pre-planned, but basically 1 million and after seems kind of...
Probably by the time they get to there, they're just like, you know, again, probably when they were that successful, they started discussing what they could do, you know, and things like that. So they were probably looking into some of these things, you know. And that's the thing is, you can plan out a certain amount ahead of time with your stretch goals, and then, like, honestly, when something exceeds it by this much, you probably start being like, okay, what else can we do? You know? Yes. Anyway, so, hey, yeah. It looks neat. It's super funded. 5 days to go. I don't know what else to say other than that is a hell of a thing. That's fun.
Studio Ghibli Zelda world, just kind of interesting. Yeah. Like, I mean, just some of the art here. It's like, yeah, I see where they're going with it.
Definitely.
I almost want to read a little bit more because it's like, what is their sheep dragon? I like that. Just the picture. Sorry, just one of the enemies. It's just a super fluffy dragon that's like coiled around someone.
It is very unique. I will definitely say it's got a very good feel to it. I think is something, you know, which, you know, is good. And looks neat. So that is our main topics for the day. Honestly, I guess we really do technically have time for a deeper discussion topic if we wanted to, because it hasn't been that long. It was very quiet.
There's a lot of... Yeah, I mean, I think you can tell both of us are tired because we're not actually able to expand upon things creatively as normal.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing is, like, it's a little bit harder to dive as deep as you'd want to when your brain doesn't work as well as you'd want it to. Honestly, maybe just a shorter episode this week that we can just catch up on some topics and, see about some things. And maybe I can convince a Yosef to show up because he likes worms next week. I can be like, hey, do you want to join and talk about a worms board game? Because he likes that game. Maybe
man, everyone talking about me, I like it.
Yes. Ha 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 ha. Yeah. How about I just talk about the week in gaming a little bit? I had Buccaneers of Shackled Sea. We finished up at Alkenstar, went and met a bunch of pirate lords, which are really terrible people technically, and convinced them to show up for a vote. That was really it. It was a pretty simple week. And then if you missed it, I talked about Starfinder on Tuesday, and I dived into Pathfinder with both orcs and Mediogaldi Island, which is an island run by the most deadly assassins. Yeah, the Assassin Island. I didn't talk about anything today because it wasn't around. So, hey, it's honestly a quiet week in general. You have anything tabletop-y to shout out?
Yeah, I mean, there's a game that's going to run. Honestly, I think I should try and convince... I'm contemplating trying to convince Joe that 5 players is enough. I don't know why he's looking for 6.
I don't know either, honestly.
He said, for Planes, he wants Planes Adventure, he wants enough people to make sure all, or not even to make sure all bases are covered, to make sure there's enough, things to go around. But I'm like, yeah, players are creative. As long as you're not Murder Hobo-y, you should be fine. So that's kind of the impression I got, is you want variety of races and people and stuff and ideas, and I'm thinking, I don't think that'll be necessary. I think 5 5 should be enough for that. Maybe that's a reason to go to 5 instead of 4, but not necessarily 6.
True. Very true.
So, that's something I was thinking about this week. But yeah, so we talked about that. I roped in another friend to play, so we have 5 now. Assuming,
well, I think we really have 4, because it sounds like it's difficult for Cell.
At the time that was originally mentioned.
Yeah. Even bi-weekly is kind of difficult, so... Yeah. It's one of those things is that, how was I gonna say? Brain work no good well.
5 players, so...
The thing is,
bi-weekly.
4 players is really all you really need, but I know the idea of 5 players is really good because then it becomes easier to run if you're missing people.
Yes.
And that's the thing, and I think that's another thing too, is he wants to kind of cover all the bases, but it's also then it really is you can be missing 2 people definitely and still run it, even bi-weekly. But again, you don't really want to miss a lot. Bi-weekly is one of those times is when you're doing it, it actually becomes harder to miss times, because it's an entire month then.
Yeah, and then it's what were we doing?
Yeah. So I think that's another problem is I think it's this catch-22 of I don't know with the bi-weekly if more players is better actually. It's the case that, no matter what, it's going to be way long if you miss a session anyway,
Yeah.
which it can work. It's fine. It's just like, I don't know what Joe wants for his game is the thing too. So we're kind of diving into it a little bit.
Yep. He's giving us some information though, at least. Yeah, and then the other thing I did was play more Baldur's Gate. That's what I did. Where I went to find a wizard, and instead I found a half ogre in the making.
That's not a wizard.
Well, I mean, I still need to find the druid, but it's just like on my way I found a half. But yeah, no, and I mean that literally. Half ogre. It's a very amusing scene where you catch an ogre and a hobgoblin in the act.
That game has an exorbitant amount of sexy time.
It does.
But the thing is, like, it's one of those things that, like, you reflect upon is there is, like, a level of just weird, honest horniness when it comes to D&D. It's just, usually it's in a lot more check. Like, and I guess the thing is, because I do a lot of stream games, it keeps even more in check than your average game, too.
Yeah. And to be fair, you know, I have everything turned off because I'm streaming. But it's just kind of interesting to be like, okay. So it's...
What was it? Someone made the
like,
comment
what
that,
would this
like...
scene be like if I didn't have all that turned off?
I heard someone make the comment that, like, when they were talking about it, like, as there was, like, a little, like, kind of review of it, they were like, you know, first thing I did was just take off everybody's clothes to see what it was like, you know, and then put them back on. And it's just like, there's just for the sheer giggles of it, you know, and really there was like, and then sort of like, well, you know, and then it's there, you know, and you're like, you want to get it out, they got it out of the way, so it wasn't like in the way if you romance them or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's a game.
Yeah, they really went all out with it.
I gotta be honest, like, I feel like it is very successful, but, I didn't end up talking about it, but I did see that, just because this is related to this entire thing, the people in Hasbro were looking at more digital things like this for D&D, when everybody that's smart agrees what Larian did was very good, but anybody that understands anything about video games know is there was a lot of stuff that set them up to make a really good game like this. Situation, the studio, what they had, a lot of these like little things, the amount of money they got, like all these different things that combine together to make Baldur's Gate 3 really good, and it's not easy for everybody to do that, or any other person to kind of recreate something like this.
I think,
in general.
Well, in my opinion, though, what this shows is not so much that, like, this doesn't set a gaming standard, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Some people are like, oh, this sets a gaming standard.
Yeah.
Any indie game should be able to achieve this because they did. I'm like, no, what this really does is set a standard for AAA games. Because, think about it, like, the amount of, like, microtransactions and money grabbing that's going on really takes away from games, but hey, look, this game is super successful, and it's done well. So if you do something right, you actually can make money.
I think you're right on it. It shines a light not on that, like, sometimes necessarily the quality, but the things that detract from the quality that a lot of larger games do with small transactions, less, like, you know, more grindy games and stuff like that a lot of more AAA games do nowadays, which, you know, there are AAA games vary a lot. You know, we can summarize that, but again, coming back to D&D,
yeah, but I want to say, like, you know, let's say Assassin's Creed, where it's like, oh, okay, you got this, like, formula, and they just stuck to it because it worked, and they didn't change anything, they didn't improve anything. It kind of just reached a point where it was just kind of the same game every time.
And now they're doubling down on Assassin's Creed's games. And they're putting out 1 billion of them.
Yeah.
I never got into that kind of game. I'm not an Assassin's Creed. I wasn't really big on the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time and their series, because that was what led to Assassin's Creed. It was like the precursor to it. So, like, I had a friend who liked those games, and I never got into them. But anyway, but the idea is that I don't know if Hasbro's learning the right lesson, doubling down on this kind of stuff because of this success. And I'm worried about it because this is Hasbro looking, going like, oh, this made the money we wanted for our D&D kind of ideas. Let's do more of that. And I'm like, do they know, like, when they did that, like, dungeon beat 'em up with Dritz and stuff, it was kind of awful and no one liked it. You know?
Wait, so wait, what is Hasbro? Has Hasbro said something about this?
Yes, maybe I can find the article quickly.
Yeah, because like like the one thing I know is they were kind of like Lilarian. There's been some jokes like Lilarian's like pushed this thing out, and Hasbro has actually disapproved of some content in it. Also, your full screen.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm full screen. Let me get that. Just trying to look up where I had seen this article, but I can remember where I had it.
So linked. I just find it interesting that they're saying we should do more of this to make more money, but also we disapprove of some of this. You know, it's like, wait, because I think they kind of disapproved of how out there it was, like you said, with like the sex, you know,
Yeah. Wait. I know it was someone on. I remember. Okay, so someone on YouTube, but I was occasionally watch now thanks to the OGL stuff. Let me go to their page if I can find it. Talked about it, and I saw the link from it. That's where I got it. I had linked. They talked about it, like, you know, they discussed the article themselves, and then I had opened the link and was reading up on it, and I didn't know if I wanted to get into, like, that kind of stuff, but it kind of has come up when talking about, you know, this here. That's gone. I follow way too many people on YouTube. There it is. This Nerd Immersion. He had a thing on it. The Hasbro CEO artist. Well, not digital.
Get ready.
Of course. Sorry. YouTube is playing as soon as I click on the thing, rather than allowing me to get to the website, because YouTube's like that, and it's doing an ad. Here we go. Here we go. I'll link this here. Just to add something to discuss here before we finish up. A little extra. Bonus discussion. So yeah, has more digital justice. Yeah.
No, wait. Is this literally the thing I found? Yeah, this is literally the thing I found in like.
Okay, so you were looking it up while you were looking. Yeah.
Yeah.
I went about where I originally saw it. You just Googled it enough to find it.
I just literally searched Hasbro's comment on Baldur's Gate 3, and I found it was like the second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that, like, apparently Honor Among Thieves had been a setback, but honestly, it's understandable, because, like, I mean, people that watched it agreed it's pretty good, and I still have to watch it. I have plans to at some point soon. But it's sort of like it came out and they did it with the OGL debacle. So they're not even going to say that that was the reason, that it was more of a setback than they wanted. Of course not, because they're business people. And they don't see that kind of thing, you know. Oh, we screwed up and pissed off our fan base, so no one went to this thing from our fan base or stuff like that.
Whereas, like, everyone knows Olirant has been a great studio, so nobody's, like, questioning their game.
Well, again, things have calmed down a little bit since this beginning of the year, for one thing. Baldur's Gate 3 has been out in early access for quite some time. You know, it has been out for like a year or two in early access. Larian has a great track record, so it's like all these things combined mean that, you know, like, it's right place, right time, kind of, you know, a better place, better time, too.
Oh gosh, so Baldur's Gate 3 made more money, so Hasbro made more money from Baldur's Gate 3 than it did on all of film licensing from the last 5 to 10 years combined.
That's a lot that they earned on this game.
Yeah, honestly, and again, I really feel like this should be an eye-opener for AAA games, but I doubt it will be, because most of the other AAAs are like EA and not Origin. It's they run EA's thing is Origin. What is the other one? Ubisoft. And Activision and Blizzard and all of them are terrible companies which just want to monetize microtransactions. But yeah, honestly, actually, so if they do what they're kind of saying here, it seems like they're trying to say like a video game as like instead of a virtual tabletop. Which which is something I actually brought up about this. Like they could like take Baldur's Gate and allow for like a dev or not a dev build. What is that called? Dev tool release and like allow for. Again,
what they're putting together is basically like it's less virtual tabletop, more video game that is also a virtual tabletop. I think that's the kind of point of it because it's specifically made for one RPG system, the D&D digital virtual tabletop. Because it can be that way, they can do that kind of thing. It is only their stuff. And then, like, apparently, like, I knew that there was some cancellations. I didn't know there was 5 D&D video games that were canceled earlier in this year.
Well, yeah, and it's sort of like... we all know why.
Yeah, we know why, which they're not going to comment on because the market tanked because of what they did. And now that it was a comeback, but there, like, some goodwill's been coming back,
Another thing I saw was that, like, their stock is apparently skyrocketing right now, Hasbro's.
Yeah, this has probably repaired a lot of the damage that was dealt earlier in the year. And it's not really related to Wizards of the Coast. It's related...
Like, honestly, it's linked to Olirant Studios, who's a great... Or Larian Studios.
Yeah, Larian, yeah.
Great company. Like, they've always been a good company. They've always, like, stuck to their guns. So it's been... Like, and they've been a good company. And the fact that Hasbro hired them... Honestly, as much as most people see it, Hasbro gave them the tools to make like them money. It's like, it's not even.
Yeah, they were given the license. They were given like probably a pretty decent budget of like because it sounds like a lot of the budget has to come from the people that are like they're not like they didn't buy the license. They went to them and basically had them make the game for them, kind of thing. Which is more partnership, I guess.
Yeah, they basically get a percentage of all the sales.
Yeah, but again, like, it's just so... I just, like, look at that and I say to myself, man, I worry that it's gonna not go as well as they want, and it's just not gonna be good for what the D&D space is, because it's like, what does this mean? Like, sure, it's not going to get rid of the physical release stuff, and we're going to get the physical release stuff, and that's an entirely different conundrum we've been discussing over the last year, with everything that's been happening and their new D&D 2024 reboot adventure Mark 27, whatever the fuck they want to call it. But, like, then there's... The expansion into other media has just been so... bad, and they shot themselves in the foot before they started it, and now that like they're like, oh, we have a success because they have a success, they're like, we're just gonna do more of that, and it's just they didn't learn lessons from what happened, and they're not going to look and understand why Baldur's Gate 3 was a success. They're just gonna say, cool, it was success, let's do more. And I think that's gonna be the issue, is we're going to see problems in the future with the direction it sounds like they're going. I think, personally. I don't know. Maybe we'll get lucky. We probably won't. Again, I will bring up the terrible Dritz, like, action-y game where it's, like, that they had. Where it was, like, was it Dark Alliance or something? I don't know. And it wasn't good. I think it was, like, last year they did that game. And it was a video game, and it wasn't great. I don't think it was terrible, but it wasn't good. Just kind of mediocre.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to play it.
And they've canceled other projects in the past. It's like, they're like, oh yeah, no, we just made... And I like a quote I found. It was like, let me see. They made some changes to we made some changes to our long-term portfolio to focus on games which are strategically aligned with developing our existing brands and those which show promise in expanding our engaging in expanding or engaging our audience in new ways. Like, it's a very non-answer.
It's
also just like,
we see something that could make it earn us money because we're Hasbro and we've been having trouble with money for like the
what's
last
funny
decade.
is like that was the reason why they canceled some video games.
Well, it's because their breadwinner was tanking a little bit when the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, you know. But now they have a success that's bringing them back from the brink, and it's
and now they're saying, maybe we should do more video games. It's not like those ones failed in the past because you guys can't figure out. It's just
it's a mess. It's a mess, and yeah. So there's our I guess closest thing to a deeper discussion topic today is the mess that's going to be more what the future of the D&D as a property is. I don't know, but I'm not. It's not that I don't want to have success for them. You know, honestly, as long as the stupid people don't get their there's a lot that Wizards does lately that I just shake my heads about. And I would just rather them not do really stupid stuff because, again, I do remember the old days. And there are people that work there that generally are great people that love their various brands. It's just there's people that are in charge that are really bad at making decisions because they're the wrong people to hire on this, but the people they always hire for these things.
Yeah,
I'm saying that pretty much most executives are tone deaf and don't really know anything. Some do, but a lot don't.
I mean, honestly, it really does seem like, because it's like, this is a discussion with the CEO, right? Yeah, CEO Chris Cox. Yeah, and that seems to be the person who's pushing. He's like, this makes money, do this. This makes money, do this. And, like, honestly, it almost seems like Wizards. But what's funny is interesting is this is actually Hasbro's CEO, not Wizards CEO. Which, I mean, I guess can be like one and the same, but.
Well, like, again, like, I think Wizards is technically a subsidiary of Hasbro. So,
I know. They are, but I don't know if they have, like, a separate CEO.
They do have a separate CEO.
Yeah, okay.
Because I don't remember her name, but it's this, it was a woman who was technically a veteran of the video game industry. Like, a bunch of the people that were in charge that made very terrible decisions around the OGL were veterans of the video game industry, and therefore theoretically made decisions based around how the video game industry worked when the OGL stuff came out. Yeah, Cynthia Williams. It sounded like those decisions were based around things that happened in the video game industry of, like, negative stuff AAA does. Let's put it that way. And so they wanted to do that kind of stuff. Didn't work. Apparently. Okay, anyway.
Yep.
There's our little dive into that entire thing, so we added a extra topic there. We'll see what happens in the future. I would love more things that are decent and great, and I don't know if we could have another Baldur's Gate 3, but we could have another really good D&D video game. And I would love different types of them.
So, Cynthia Williams is the president of Wizards of the Coast, whereas Chris Cox is the CEO of Hasbro.
Gotcha. There is differences there. I'm not good at corporate stuff for giving you all the decencies. Don't ask me.
I mean, like, yeah, I guess that makes it like my boss is president and CEO, you know?
They're technically two different positions, but you don't always have both positions depending on what's going on with it. Yeah.
And the size of your company, because my company has, 10 people in it.
Well, I think also, like, you know, Wizards would technically have a president rather than a CEO because it's got the CEO at the top of Hasbro and it's a subsidiary, so maybe that's why they have a president instead.
Yeah.
Hasbro might not necessarily have a president, might just have a CEO, depending on if it's just going to board.
Anyway, I'm learning more about that kind of stuff as I do my job, but it's also not my area, so.
Hey! So that sounds like a great place to leave it today. We got to an hour adding that in.
Yay!
A nice heated extra discussion that I honestly... I thought about adding that, but I kind of had been like, yeah.
I mean, we're all like looking side-eyed at Wizards right now, being like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" Are you sure that's the lesson you want to learn from this?
It just continues to feel like they don't learn any lessons from anything, and I'm just like, please learn some lesson somewhere, or someone be able to tell someone else something important, or, you know, whisper up the lane of some kind of, like, you know, here's the lessons we should learn.
They'll learn their lesson when it causes them to lose money, and then they'll immediately forget it when they get that money back.
Yes.
That's how businesses work. At least big ones.
Yes. Anyway. So sure, I think we'll leave it off there. That's a great place to leave it. Where,
Yes.
you know, we got into some interesting talks about things that are coming out today. So plenty of stuff to check out. Thank you for joining me, Ward.
Yes.
Find
Find me on Twitch tomorrow morning. 10:30 PST, which would be like 1:30 EST.
Yep. Cool. What are you doing more tomorrow then? What's the plan?
I'll be doing Baldur's Gate tomorrow. I did
Ooh.
Warframe today because it was TennoCon, but tomorrow I'll be back to Baldur's Gate.
Okay.
It's gonna take me like I think a year to finish that game.
I know I got to start it at some point in time, but I also know it's going to take forever. That's why I've been hesitant, and also like I know it's sort of like maybe I should do a single player, but also a multiplayer, and it's like, oh, okay, because they're two different beasts also, and I'm like, oh god,
Invite me to a multiplayer.
Anyway, next week's schedule, Tabletop should be back on talking Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday should be on schedule for that. Doing the Link to the Past / Super Metroid Randomizer on Monday, some more Little Witch on Wednesday, and Fallout 4 on Friday. We're sticking with that schedule for now until I finish some stuff up. Should be back on schedule for Discussing Tabletop next week. Should be back to a normal schedule, not delayed, hopefully. And so yeah, I think that's everything I can shout out. Make sure to check out my links below, YouTube page, all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to say to all of you out there, farewell, have yourself a great rest of your Saturday, and see you all hopefully on Monday then, and check out one more tomorrow. So, to these times, farewell everybody, on.